All right. Well, thank you all for being here, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Wu. Dr. Wu received his PharmD from Wayne State University, and then a couple years later joined the University of Kentucky College of Pharmacy, where he received his PhD. Dr. Wu has participated in a broad spectrum of activities in drug development, consultation, and clinical usage, focusing on clinical pharmacology. He's been involved in local and global development for over 2 decades in Janssen China, Asubio Pharmaceuticals, Aventis-Sanofi, Hoffmann-La Roche, and Roche Laboratory Inc. In addition, he has experience in screening and transitioning drug pipelines from preclinical to clinical development, launching and promoting new drug, and working in hospital and retail pharmacies. Dr. Wu is a Diplomate of the American Board of Clinical Pharmacology, a Fellow of the College of Clinical Pharmacology, an editorial review board member, and has over 40 publications and presentations. His therapeutic areas of expertise includes amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, antibacterial, asthma, COPD, cardiovascular, depression, dermatology, diabetes, hematology, HPV, HIV, influenza, irritable bowel syndrome, metabolism, multiple sclerosis, oncology, Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, rheumatoid arthritis, stroke, and transplant. So very wide areas of expertise. And Dr. Wu is currently employed by Click Therapeutics, a prescription digital therapeutic company, and clinical development of smartphone apps for the treatment of migraine, schizophrenia, and pain. So welcoming Dr. Wu. Thank you.
Yeah, Jack, if I may clarify, a few things have changed. Like, first thing, the therapeutic areas, because I work in pharma for quite some time, so I follow the direction where the pharma drug development is going. Right now, it's oncology, actually nearly most of oncology, but starting to go into neurology, which is so follow right now less and less in some area. Before that, there are more and more, but now it's tunneling towards oncology. Like the Alzheimer's disease recently, the Belgian ASI has some drugs being shows that they can reduce dementia by 29%.
Oh, wow.
First time ever. And I checked the clinical trial is 1.5 years. And takes about 1,700 patients.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because previously Biogen has the first drug approved, but only biomarker, not patients dementia improvement. But now they show that by it's nominal minimum, at least the first time ever. The New England Journal of Medicine just published it about a few days ago. And this morning I see 2 patients die. What happened? I guess it's normal for Alzheimer's disease patient die. I don't know.
That is typically an older population, and so
yeah. So we'll see how things turn. But I have to say, I'm excited about drug development. So I like to convince people. I know the graduates directions are not into pharmaceutical development now. They're more at the area, if I understand correctly. I talked to my professor Patrick Minimar. That's what I say. I still remember I came to Kentucky because of Bob Bluin. Bob Bluin met me in mid-year, offered me a scholarship, so I came over.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but of course Bob Bluin now is become a dean now.
Awesome. Well, I'll start off with a couple of quick questions, just so we all kind of become familiar with your current work, and then I'll open it up to students to see if they have any questions.
So before that, one more thing. So I'm now into Click Therapeutics now. I've terminated the position because I feel that we don't go anywhere with software drug treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So half a year enough, and I'm going back to pharma.
Okay.
Consulting right there at the moment.
Consulting. Well, can you speak a little bit to kind of your consulting position? What does that entail? kind of what projects are you working on now with as a consultant?
Consulting can be full-time, like full-time consulting, 40 hours a week or less, than it depends on project basis. So it's more flexible. Either way, I go full-time consulting, whoever comes along, I'll take it. That's why I do stress the pharma life is up and down. It's not that stable. Those times when I first joined, it's stable. It's very stable. But now it's not. Okay, I'll stop here. So.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So you've worked on a wide variety of therapeutic areas, and you mentioned you're very interested in neurology. You spoke a little bit about that Alzheimer's drug. Is that a field you're looking to get back into, or you think you'd also mention oncology? Kind of where do you see yourself going in the future? And can you speak a little bit more to the future of drug development?
Sure. I think both are very important. Oncology has made substantial inroads for the last 5 years or so. A lot of drugs a lot of companies get into oncology, drug development, which is a good area to go into, but depends. If you come in late, it might be too much competition. Neurology, 5 years ago, I was in Asubio, not a prime time yet. All the drug flopped. Because there's especially neurodegenerative diseases. There's no good drug yet. No good drug. Parkinson drug, levodopa, 20, 30 years ago drug. Okay, modified. There's no good drug. So there's the neurodegenerative diseases is tough area. CNS is tough area. Very few people are successful in these areas. But now starting to become important because we know CNS better. We know that's where I see the next frontier is. So both are very exciting, oncology and neurology.
Oh, that's exciting. I work on the brain, so that makes me happy to hear. So my project focuses on the brain. I do substance use disorder.
Oh, the brain! Wow, definitely.
So.
This is really important now because so far there's no good drug for neurodegenerative disease completely. But we hope to make inroads. I can see in the next 5 or 10 years or more. We will see huge inroads, but CNS research is getting very important.
Wonderful, thank you. I do have one more question for you, then I'll open it up. Have you had any experience working in regulatory affairs and strategies and affairs for clinical pharmacology?
Yes, I have experience. I'm not a regulatory person, but it's part and parcel of clinical pharmacology. I'm not sure you have a clinical pharmacology job. In drug development, there are basically 2 groups of scientists. MD guys do the therapeutics. Their main focus on phase 3. The PhD guy like me will do clinical pharmacologist. Will do early phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 supporting, phase 4 as well. But our main job is to define the dose, right? Get the right dose, and then to bring the drug through the regulatory hurdle to get it approved and marketed. That's our main job.
Got it. And so how did you get into that field, and what advice would you give to any graduate students who are looking to get into that clinical pharmacology area?
First of all, we have to really make sure people be able to swallow the bitter pill.
Yes.
And MD is still in charge. MD. So a lot of PhD go to MD is fine because you go to industry, MD we heading clinical pharmacology. So we are clinical pharmacology are the second feature.
Mhm.
So we're supporting the MDs. If you can accept that role, it's fine. If you cannot accept that, I will advise people to go back to get MD. Because I know, because the whole pharma is controlled by MDs.
Mhm.
And on the side, okay, I was initially, Bob Bloin convinced me to join from the PhD. He said, oh, okay, there's not too much MD, so you can go from the PhD, it's fine. No, it came out wrong because the MD all over the world in China produce MD as a first basic degree. They call themselves MD also. No, there's no way for you to get that.
Oh, gotcha. Wonderful. Well, so I'll open it up to students to see if they have any questions. If not, I have some more, but and you can also either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Either one would work.
Feel free to ask any question because that's a good opportunity to get some flash of some ideas. I speak too fast. I hope you guys can understand.
Well, while they're thinking, I could ask another question or two. So looking at your resume and the bio that you sent out, one of your appointments is as a diplomat for the American Board of Applied Clinical Pharmacology. Can you speak a little bit about to that position and kind of the nature of international collaboration? Because we hear all the time, collaboration is great, and it is, but that's very impressive to be able to work that far on a project.
Yeah. The diplomat thing, okay? Those times easier. Those are easier to get into it. But now it's harder. Now you have to get a postdoc under the accredited programs, which is limited in US. Okay, so it's very hard now. The route is very hard for new PhD who get into the diplomat, become diplomat now. Because even for me, it's the applied kind. It's not MD. Most of them are MDs. So MD don't apply. It's just the diplomat. But I think it's closing the gap now. It's tough. So that route is not the best to go. I'm sorry, what's your second question again?
Oh, you've just worked on a lot of projects, in national and internationally. And I was just wondering if you could speak to the nature of international collaboration.
Oh yeah,
Scientists collaborating is always great, but just speaking to either pros and cons of dealing with people, maybe halfway across the world.
yeah, of course. A few things. Our job, drug development, is maybe initially in US, but eventually it will be international. So international exposure is very important. For clinical pharmacologists, most of them are US folks, a lot UK, EU folks, okay? You work together with them. So, and the drug development is mainly in US and Europe, or some Japan, of course, Japan. But China has become important now. So it's good to get to be able to work with people, but it's good to know somehow there's different culture. You have to learn about the cultural differences because depends on Japanese. Japanese are more straightforward, but yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say bad things about them, but there are a lot of things you need to learn about. For example, they seldom say no to you. Okay, so to learn to guess, to read the mind, or to I will not get the truth of after the work. After work, go to karaoke bar, whatever. After work, after a few drinks, they will tell you the truth. If not, they will not tell you the truth. Everything is programmed. Every meeting has been decided. The decision is made beforehand. So that's Japan. In Europe, Europe's are closer to US. Depends on the country, but but I think US is in between. China also, China is more direct. Actually, it's more direct. They tell you direct, more direct. China, I'm also interaction with Chinese people. They're more direct. They'll tell you yes or no, very straightforward. America is more a little bit subtle. They will not tell you that. It's too yeah, but Europe people depends. I guess normally we do Europe people. There are different things you have to know about their culture. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Looks like we have a few questions in the chat. So this one is, I know you probably have IP, but broadly, what field of therapeutics do you foresee being successful in the degenerative field? I'm guessing that's probably neurodegenerative field.
Sure. Yeah. I think the one that important now is Alzheimer's diseases. Alzheimer's, MS has some drugs on the market. The Parkinson still a lot of dementia, neurodegeneration. There's no cure, no good treatment. Like for example, I work on many years in stroke, spinal cord injury, stroke and spinal cord. No, nothing. Nothing is good because many of these neurodegenerative disease has a disease progression model. They go down. They go down continuously. So you have to show above and beyond what is caused by the disease progression. On the other hand, stroke. So most of the patients will get better. You go up. So whatever you show, you have to show that your drug effect is more than so. Your drug effect is more than what is caused by disease improvement. And moreover, a lot heterogeneous. The patients are so heterogeneous. There's no way unless you can find a therapeutic, a particular subset of population, and maybe you can work on it. Otherwise, it's so hard. But I see the previous about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there's the company no scavengers, no nitric oxide as a second scavenger. It works. I think they're still going on strong. I was Asubio, we developed on those scavengers, so the potassium channel blocker, but it doesn't work.
Oh, interesting. All right, I have another question in the chat. What advice would you give for pursuing and transitioning into leadership roles within the pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah, there's a big area. I don't think I'm the right person to talk about that because I'm not. But I think the first thing is there's a balance between the two factors. First factor, you have to stick to your core. You're a scientist. The core, you have to be strong in science, of course, including your management as well, management skill. The other, you have to be flexible to circumstances. What I call excipiency or exigency. Depends on circumstances. You have to be very smart enough to see what is good for. So between the two, of course, you stick to your core first, but second, you have to see the circumstances. You have to be expedient in whatever you do. So if you can do both, I believe you can climb up.
Interesting. Okay. So kind of in that same vein, what would you have wished somebody told you as a graduate student, or what advice could you give graduate students or current graduate students that are looking to pursue roles in industry?
Yeah, it depends on the excuse me. It depends on the personality, what are you aiming for? If your industry used to be very good, because those time Bob Bloom, minimum, my advice, minimum time, okay. Okay, you get big bucks or this, whatever, this, this could, yeah. But in the long run, of course, I move around, my time still go retirement. I move around, that's none, okay, I lose a lot. I feel not too much. Yeah, those people whom I hire, they stick around, they got good retirement, okay? And so people, depends on what you want. Basically, you can be what you want. You have to make sure that your interest in pharma, drug development. Otherwise, you stick to academia, stick to some other places. I think that's more secure. I think, like for example, I keep laughing at my wife, okay, who is attorney. Oh, working for the state. How much money you get about 1/3 of what I used to get? But now it's good now. Oh man, over the year, the reward will come in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it depends on people's personality. My advice is, if you are like me who wants to help drug development, I think that's the way you should go. I think if I'm given the choice, I'll still go to pharmaceuticals. So my advice, do not discount clinical pharmaceutical industry. I think there's still good things there, and there's still new people who now we know better understand genetics, better understanding of the brain, like you. The good breakthrough will come.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I have another question for you. I was looking at your resume. I noticed that you have also some adjunct faculty positions teaching at a couple of different universities. I know that's of interest to a few students here who want to go into industry, but also maybe possibly teach adjunct. Can you speak to how you kind of obtain that position and what that entails? Having to balance. Makes sense when you're a researcher. You're in that environment. You have to teach. How do you balance doing both those things as being an industry and then also being an adjunct professor?
Yeah. If you basically mostly are PharmD students, they need rotations.
Ah,
They need rotation. So that they they will come, and then your job is to to guide them, to expose them, depends on the time, expose them to many areas that they're interested in, to guide them, to lead them. That's quite rewarding. Like for example, this time, to pass something to help the next graduates to be successful. This is a very rewarding opportunity. Very rewarding. PhD is harder. Maybe PhD graduate students, maybe there's some position or some interns. I think that'll be helpful, because I think for people to get some exposures is very important to get a sense, because I see I work for Roche. Many of people got a PharmD graduate from Rutgers has a program. Yeah, they go quite far. They go to FDA, regulatory, they go to operation. So it depends on their interest, I think.
Interesting. So throughout your career, what were key, turning or decision points that shaped your trajectory to be now? What comes to mind for me is what drew you towards industry versus maybe academia.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. What's the transition point? Is the way asking. What's the point? Yeah. That's a tough question. Yeah, things change because used to be quite secure. Quite secure. Pharma is quite secure. People work for their whole life there. Okay. Now it's different. Now the whole industry is under topsy-turvy. Because basically, essentially, you don't, big pharma, essentially you don't make money. You lose money. Those times when they want to make more money, they just increase the drug prices, just so they can monitor that they keep going on strong. But now, because essentially the business model is broken, so you have to find a way to make it lucrative, successful. So you have to find some other means to do that. I think, but in general, people, it's tougher and tougher. I see that pharma is not like that before. When I first joined, it's not like that. But now you have to, of course, there are people who do well, of course. Doesn't mean I might not do well, but there are people who do well. But there are people, depends, they have opportunity, they through the circumstances, they manage to get on. But so up to be flexible. I would suggest the new graduate who is interested in pharma, be flexible. Hold on to your core science and for the expediency that how things are, you never know.
Do you have any advice on how to cultivate or strengthen your flexibility as a graduate student? I know I can get pretty narrowly focused on my pathway that I'm looking at within the hippocampus, and then I'm focused on that pathway, and sometimes I miss the forest for the trees. So do you have any advice on how to increase that flexibility or increase flexibility?
Yeah, increase flexibility. I think I might mellow a lot of ideal thoughts. Okay, it's not a bed of roses all the time. Mm-hmm. It's the ups and downs in industry. You have to be flexible to know that it's not green all the time. Mm-hmm. I think some of the areas are more stable, maybe academia depends. I know I shouldn't comment on that because I'm not experienced. So what I can say about pharma is you have to, I guess, to me, that holds you on is you have an end game in mind. Mm-hmm. End game in mind. You know what you are getting. You know you want your objective, your mission in life is to improve patient care by bringing in new medicines. That should be the driving force in all things you do. To set that with that, the flexibility comes along because you need to just go along with the circumstances, be able to navigate yourself through the circumstances you are facing, get the best out of it.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So you mentioned interacting quite a bit with MDs. Do you, through some of your previous positions, have you had a lot of experience, in the clinic in working with patients alongside MDs, or is that something that you haven't had a lot of experience doing? And can you speak to that? I
do have that. PharmD, I've got PharmD Wayne State. We do 2 year PharmD, first year of course, or second year all rotations, the whole year rotation. You go through rotation, go to the team, go to all these different teams. So working in hospital depends to patient in mind. Industry is a bit different. Industry is kind of set. What is your area, your expertise? You do well, but MD will take care of the phase 3 safety, efficacy, endpoints. That's what. So our job is to be able to convince them that we bring something to the table. We can add, besides our core areas like doses, special populations, whatever, so that we can also understand the therapy area well, and we can also contribute to therapy. And if you might be aware, I think Mendel mentioned about, these schools are focus on pharmacometrics. They graduate the student, even before they graduate, they got job offer. That's true. I think UK try to do that. UK hire my friend. Jian is my friend. Okay, Jian. Someone doesn't work out. He left. Okay, so maybe you guys can try again, because for PhD eventually more and more into even clinical pharmacologists, more and more into pharmacometrics.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a huge area of pharmacometrics now is basically Norman stuff, okay? S plus R whatever. Um, but the new one is machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
the artificial intelligence, machine learning. I think things will change completely. The artificial intelligence and machine learning neural networks become more and more important. Things will change. So there are more and more things coming along than just traditional current pharmacometrics. Maybe 5, 10 years down the road, yeah, people, artificial intelligence, machine learning, they come a model to be able to predict, use a model to actually predict the phase 3 outcome in terms of efficacy and safety.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. Kind of sticking with that machine learning, AI, neural network. Is that a skill that you have I guess, kind of coding? Is that something that you've worked on? Is something that a skill you picked up along the way, or is those kind of, I guess, separate students, right? A lot of times, especially in our program, PhD, where there's not outside of computational chemistry, there's not a lot of people spending large amounts of time, coding. Is that something that you're seeing more and more people entering the workforce with, even though they might have a traditional, biology background?
Yeah, mainly biology background, obviously statisticians. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's just starting. I've seen pharma, a few of them are starting. If FDA is starting, so I'm not good at this area at all. But it's starting, just starting to get it in to start. Okay, we get it from the beginning. I think if UK can get some people to build up their expertise in this area, I think it'll be great. I think pharmacometrics, pharmacometrics office, you need to know basics of pharmacometrics to do that. And pharmacometrics, all the artificial intelligence, machine learning, all this, I think that would be a hit, because I see the next 5 years down the road, MD is going to ask, okay, what do you predict all this is? You need to have a new, something new about the the a lot of electronic healthcare records. All these you have to start to be able to capture the big data set and be able to predict what is going to happen. Because I think that will fall back to clinical pharmacologists or something similar to that. I think the MD will appreciate, because I think we have to get ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Oh, I'll take a break and asking my questions, see if any other students have any questions.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Dr. Wu. Can I ask one question? Because I was in animal study, I was in the zone, but I was listening all the whole talk. I just have a question. Like, I have a feeling as graduate students, like from what I do, I feel like I do like PK/PD, I do pharmacology, I do like cell culture, true cell, hack cell, basically focus on like biologics, in vitro and in vivo study. I'm just wondering, but what from my experience, I feel like every aspect of this experiment I'm superficial. Like what I do is like just on the very top. So I'm just wondering, how can we as graduate students to like deepen our knowledge to more like to be like more not like expert, but just being like no more, instead of just like, oh, I do all this kind of thing, but I'm not like 100% good at all of them, because every aspect has a lot of stuff to learn. So that's just, what's your suggestion for that part as graduate students?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we learn from one another. I would sometimes you do it by yourself is hard. If you can hook up with somebody with a similar interest, perhaps even do some postdoc, perhaps even do some summer interns, I think that will accentuate what you are doing now. And also, as in depends. We are into the. I think our area is in the drug company. You know what you want in life, and then if you focus on the area, you cannot learn everything, but focus on that area, and you will do well. Through a lot of things you can learn by yourself, or you can improve because now it's different because before that things are not available. Now it is. You can do a lot of things. You can check, investigate, research, and do excel in area that you like. Does
Okay.
that have a question?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we have another question in the chat. Is it possible to get into pharma consulting right out of your PhD? I do not really want to do bench work after my PhD anymore.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But people want consultants because they have spent 10, 20 years in industry. Otherwise, unless they want a pair of hands. They want a pair of hands, you can do something for them. That might work. But otherwise, they generally, in clinical pharmacologists, they want somebody who has well-grounded idea, who has done that before, who will be we will help them to help them in the area they're interested.
Well, thank you. Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, I'll ask one or two more to wrap up, and we'll see if we have any more. So, as you mentioned, you've done lots of consulting in lots of different positions. What in pharma, and we kind of touched on this with wanting a pair of hands, but what type of entry-level positions do you often see at some of the different companies you work for, and what are the required skills for a position like that? I know we've mentioned some of this with flexibility, but
What the required skill for what? I'm sorry.
oh yeah, so for individuals who want to enter the pharmaceutical industry, who want to work kind of in this clinical pharmacology space, what are some of the entry-level positions at some of these different companies, and what skills would you suggest an individual looking for a position like that obtain?
Yeah, as I said, now pharmaceutical industries are more stringent. They want somebody who can bring something extra to the table. So if you can have something to offer to the company, they might be interested. Otherwise, they're not too interested to. Previously, they're fine. We get people get trained, whatever is fine. They're open. They are my time Roche. They even send postdoc to over international trip, whatever. They are fine. But those times, but now it's different. Now you have to understand that you can bring something to the table, something that the company view new, maybe through your academia, through your professor, or something that is some area that they think they are interested. I think that might be. Otherwise, you're just normal, ordinary. There are too many graduates.
Well, thank you. We have another question in the chat. For graduate students focusing more on the discovery chemistry side of drug development, would you recommend seeking out learning opportunities in clinical pharmacology to make us more attractive candidates for industry?
I wouldn't think so, no. If you're into that in chemistry, the area called CMC, chemistry manufacturing control, I think. CMC is good area also, good area. The other area that people not trade, it's regulatory. Regulatory is also very important. Regulatory and also project management. Project management is also very important. So depends on your interest. I wouldn't think you should go for people who are interested in doing chemistry, discover chemistry. You should stick to that. Actually, chemistry is quite good at like discoveries. Like for example, we clinical pharmacology, whatever is being thrown to us, we will develop that. We have no say in the molecules itself. I think the chemist and discovery, they have a more say. I think they will do well as well, even though I do not cover that here.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'll give one more opportunity for any last questions. If not, then can you all join me in thanking Dr. Wu for taking time out of his busy schedule to share some insights with us? We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this for us, and so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was very nice meeting you.
Nice. Thank you.